play? And I say, no, Mom, I got to pray. And I was only 4 and 5 years old. And I had a vision. I was wide awake. I was sitting in that chair. And I saw my grandmama and my pawpaw that I never saw because they were dead before I was ever born. But I saw them walking down this beautiful lane, this gorgeous lane, and they were holding hands. And I looked at them, and my grandmama looked at me, and she said, let not your heart be troubled. Ye believe in God, believe also in me. In my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not true, I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you. And if I go to prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you into myself, that where I am, there you may be also. I went and told my mom about the vision, and she started crying. She said, Marcia, tell that to me again. At 4 years old, I memorized those 5 verses, and I've not forgotten them to this day.
That's amazing.
And that was just in a vision. I quoted that to her. She said, Mama, Marcia, that was my mama's favorite verse.
How many visions have you had?
2 that I was wide awake. Just 2. This one and the other one I'll tell you about. But anyway, I told her that, and I told her exactly what they looked like. I said, Mama, your mama was a little bit taller than your daddy. She said, Marcia, let me go get you a picture, because my mama was real. My daddy told me that my mama had some problems that she would never talk about.
Sure.
And I never had pictures of my grandmama and my granddaddy on her side. So I never knew what they looked like until that vision.
Right.
And when I told her, she said that's exactly what they look like. So nobody could tell me that I made it up or that it just came to me, because I memorized those verses. That's found in St. John chapter 14, verses 1 through 6 that I just quoted. And I didn't know where it was. I never knew until that.
All right, I'm going to ask you a question.
Okay.
You ready for this question?
I am.
There are people out there that would think you're crazy.
Right, right.
Has anyone ever said that to you?
No.
Yeah.
I am a peculiar person, and I have a lot of acquaintances, but I have very few close friends. I have very few. I know I'm a peculiar people, but Jesus said we'd be peculiar. They didn't like Jesus. They talked about him, but his story still stands today.
Sure.
So, yeah, I know people think I'm crazy, but it's okay, because I know I'm not. I got love, power, and a sound mind.
Got it. No, I understand completely. Let me ask you this. Do you ever see religious people on television or wherever that you think are not mentally stable?
Yes, yes, I do.
What is the difference between them and you?
Okay, what I feel, and I don't know, I've never walked in their shoes, never been inside their body, but what happens is we get so religious that we make laws, just like they did in the Old Testament. They made laws that we could not keep up with.
Right.
And then they get so wrapped up in that lifestyle, and they just keep on going and just get, it's a religion.
Yeah, you don't think, this is a leading question, I don't want to lead you. I'm curious, there are some things in all religions that at the time were necessary.
Right.
And then society changes.
Right.
Things change. People's
Right.
way of life changes. How do you, for instance, men being separate from women in the Jewish religion, when they pray, the women are not allowed to be there, not allowed to be rabbis or cantors.
Right.
Do you feel that something like that still stands?
Yes, I can see it, because I know in our religion that I think, they said it's not good for a woman. The Bible says that a pastor of a church should be good for his family, rule his house well, and the man of one wife. Okay, so that goes to show that right there that women really, I don't think women should be pastors or very.
Sounds like you'd be an amazing pastor. Did you don't think if women were allowed to be pastors that you would be one tomorrow?
No, I do. No, I don't believe in being a pastor.
Okay.
I believe that just like Jesus is the head, and God says the man is supposed to be the head of the wife, and we're supposed to honor our husbands. God has an order. When he created the heavens and the earth, he had an order. He had a time that he created the moon and the sun and the stars, the plants. He had order.
Right.
The 7th day he rested. So he's our example. We live by him for an example.
So let me ask you, 9/11, when you found out that they were terrorists, and it was religious based, crazy? Not crazy?
Well, everybody has different beliefs in their religion. And God still loves those people, but their cause was wrong. and everybody has wrong causes. And I've seen religious people that I've looked at, and I thought, I don't want to be. I don't want to be Christian if that's religion. I don't want to be it. I even looked at my mama and said, if that's Christianity, I don't want it.
So violence is just not an option for you. There are.
I believe, honey, let me tell you something. I believe if they'd have done in the Old Testament what they're supposed to have done, when God would tell Israel, go wipe them out, go kill the children and the wives and the animals, and don't let nothing come out, we wouldn't really be where we are today. The war we're in today is really from the beginning. It's with Esau and, no, not Esau, but Israel and Abraham's sons, the two sons, Isaac
and
Ishmael.
Jacob.
Isaac and Ishmael. That's where the wars are today. We're still there. And it's going to be there till the day God calls us home.
You following what's going on right now in Israel and Iran?
Yes, and that breaks my heart because I still pray for the peace of Jerusalem. God says he'll prosper those that pray for the peace of Jerusalem.
So you're pro-Israel?
Yes, I am. I am because God. Because that's just...
Do you ever question what religion has morphed to in some situations? Like, for instance, how many people could die if Israel attacks Iran, they attack back? How do you deal with that as far as this is religious based? If religion didn't exist, this might not be happening.
Right. Well, it's all biblical, and it's going to happen. It's got to happen. Just like there was wars in the Bible days, there's always been good and evil. There's always, since Adam and Eve, there's always been good and evil. And that's what it is. They've just got choices. And it's just, I love Ishmael's family, and I love Isaac's family. And I still believe there's hope for both sides if they'll just come to Jesus. He is the only way. There's only one God, and there's only one Jesus.
So, there's only your God.
There's only one God.
The other religions that claim their God, are they wrong?
They just don't know. They just don't know the truth. And not that I know it all.
Right.
Not that I know it all, but I know there's only one God, and I know that Jesus Christ is the Son of the living God.
And they say the same thing to you, right? That it's their God and your God doesn't exist.
Well, I've never had confrontation with another religion.
Oh, you never had like a conversation with?
No.
So, one of you is right.
But I've got a lot of Jewish friends.
Do you?
I do have a lot of Jewish friends. In fact, I've got a brother-in-law that's Jewish. Yes.
So one of you is right, and one of you is wrong. Would you agree with that?
Right, I would.
How do you know you're right and that they're wrong?
Well, from the experience I had when I was about 4 or 5 years old.
Oh, and over there as well.
Over there as well.
Yep.
I've known Jesus from. I've had a lot of dreams. You asked me how many visions I've had. I've had 2 visions where I was wide awake and had them, but I've had dreams.
Let's go over and take a look at your vision.
Okay. When I was walking through, I was sitting at the table right here. This is a little small room. And
now, when you lived here, this was
just a window.
And this wall was down, but this was the kitchen.
Yes,
Okay.
and you could come. The sink was still here above the window, and you could walk straight through here and go into the room that we built. That they've got the bedroom back there, but it was just my brother's room. And you could go in there and you just go out the door.
And so you were where when this happened?
Yeah, I was wide awake, 5 years old, and I was sitting at the breakfast table. It was right here, and I was sitting here, and I was having cereal. I remember that as clear. And I heard the doorknob turn. It was like this. I heard a doorknob turn, and I turned around, and when I did, Jesus was standing right behind me. He is standing just like this, head on white.
How did you know he was behind you?
Because
did you
I
sense
turned
it?
around.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes,
You turned around
the
and
doorknobs turn, and I thought it was coming through the front door.
Gotcha.
So
I
I
missed
turned
that.
around, and there Jesus was standing, way higher than I was. There's no way he could have been just in our little thing, but he was standing there, and I looked up at him, and he was looking down at me. Never said a word. I don't know why I didn't say anything, but we never said a word. He just looked at me and smiled. His hair was